You know, Phyllis, her sense of faith means the world to her. It moves her. It makes her who and what she is. It provides her with the guidelines for her own moral behavior, for her own awareness that there is no U-Haul truck behind a hearse and there's no luggage rack on top. So you're not going to take anything with you when you go, except what you gave away while you were alive. What you leave behind you is what you take with you.
She never wanted just to have giveaway programs. She wanted to have programs that led to their development. That's the way that I developed a very great knowledge and admiration for what she was trying to do.
You need faith, you need a basis to remain focused. And she is totally focused. She's a very intelligent lady, highly organized, and remembers everything. But she's also extremely focused in terms of what she has to do, and it's amazing the number of hours that she'll put in a day.
When Patrick passed away, I remember thinking too, wow, what a heavy responsibility for Phyllis to be able to step in, run the business, run the foundation, and be and do all the things that she needs to be and do in order to make sure that things go well. But she did it, and she did it with an amazing grace, an amazing ability. Never once did anyone ever say, well, you know, here's a woman whose husband died and left her the business and she doesn't have a clue what she's doing. That was never true about PhyllisTaylor.
Hurricane Katrina hit on, August 29th. Employees were scattered all over. I heard from Mrs. Taylor on a Wednesday after the storm, and she had already found office space in Lafayette and asked me how quick I could get there, and so I did. And when I got there, she had a yellow legal notebook that was just about halfway full with notes. And she had written down every employee's name in this notebook, and she would check, you know, every day to see if we'd heard from that employee.
And every employee continued on the payroll. There was no question about the damage that was done offshore to the platforms, or there was no production. She was committed to the employees.
But the goal was always to come back to New Orleans and to reestablish the company there. And again, part of her optimism, there's not a question. This is what we're going to do, and we're going to all be part of helping to rebuild New Orleans.
One of the shining lights, one of the events that everybody kind of came around together was that Patrick Taylor tribute concert in the cathedral. And that concert that Phyllis had really arranged with us was one of the bright lights for so many people. It was, of course, free. People came from all over to hear this. It was one of those events that bound the city together.
And all of a sudden, up stands the Marine Corps Band. This incredible array of beautiful young men and women, impeccably attired in their Marine Corps uniforms, looking so smart and brave and bold. And they launched into, and here I go, do you know what it means to miss New Orleans? And yes, we all did. And Phyllis saw to it that we had courage, that we had strength, and that we would keep on going. We would not let one foot go down. We would keep the other foot going. We held hands and we went forward. And for that, PhyllisTaylor, we thank you.
When she decides that she's going to become involved and put her name on an initiative or a new Health and Human Services endeavor, she does it completely, absolutely completely. She educates herself, she gives generously of her foundation funding, but more importantly, she gives generously of herself. After Hurricane Katrina, when one of the child care centers that we were trying to move from licensure to accreditation was totally destroyed, the Women's Leadership Council decided that we were going to build a playground at that child care center. That was Royal Castle Child Care Center. Phyllis volunteered to be a build captain. So not only was she helping to underwrite the cost of this child care center, she shows up on the scene with all of her staff people and stayed there all day from start to finish doing construction work in this dirt playground.
The Toys for Tots program was of tremendous interest to her. She always understood that this is a great time and that we had to help the people to have a good time in order to become better citizens.
Phyllis put on this first-class event, but made sure that everybody understood that there was a ticket to get in the door, a ticket for the right reason. And the right reason was, come join us and bring a toy because it's going to make a difference for some boy or girl for this Christmas. Seeing Phyllis amongst the toys, the light in her face, it brings joy to her heart.
One of the reasons I love Phyllis is because she does love to dress up and wear costumes, and she does it so well. The time that she showed up at the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra's gala ball that we had one year that had an Italian theme, and there she was dressed in the most incredible costume that she just sort of picked up in Venice. That was a Venetian Mardi Gras costume. Extraordinary.
On Halloween, she went as a chandelier. And we couldn't even get her to the party in a car. We had to put her in the back of a conversion van. So she just sat in the back of a van with no seats.
The energy starts to build, and here comes Phyllis in a costume. And she's got her mic, and she's out on the balcony, and she's working the crowd down in Lee Circle. She's working the crowd that's in the building saying, get out here. They got a parade going on. She's talking to the people on the floats. She's doing everything, and it's just, again, it's energy, what you would expect. I guess from my perspective, from a professional entertainer, she's got it.
No, Phyllis has a very deep passion for education, because Patrick always talked about his success is due to an education, and her success is also due to good education. You know, she was an outstanding student in college and one of the first students to graduate in law at Tulane University. So that speaks well in terms of her preparation, and that she's able to go back and to relate that to kids and to tell them how she became what she is today.
Patrick F. Taylor Science and Technology Academy is a public school in Jefferson Parish. It's regional. It's open to anyone who can drive to Taylor. And because of Mrs. Taylor's involvement, we've really been able to step it up to a new level. Many of our students will be the first in their family to go to college. And although some of them received academic scholarships, the vast majority of them are counting on TOPS to make college a reality. Mrs. Taylor was very involved with our first senior class. She took them to brunch and she moved from table to table. She left an empty seat at each table so she could visit with each table of students and their parents. At graduation night, all of the students sat on the bleachers and Mrs. Taylor sat with them. They really enjoyed having the opportunity to sit with her and take a picture and talk to her at graduation.
You will get to be what you want to be. You've prepared to meet the challenge. May each of you find that road to success and have your dreams become a reality. My best wishes to all of you.
Everybody knows about the work of the Taylor Foundation and the TOPS program, but Phyllis is, she's committed to lifelong learning. That's what I've learned about Phyllis. And Success by Six, for instance, that she underwrote, deals with children from age 0 to age 5. The passion there is to make sure that all children are equally ready to learn when they enter school. And then in the middle of all of that, the Taylor Foundation has just partnered under Phyllis's leadership in a new program to make sure that children who are already in school move with their peers to the appropriate grade level, pass standardized testing, stay in school, and graduate. So there's the centerpiece. So we have 0 to 5, we have 5 through high school, and then with the Taylor plan, we have college and going forward. It's a passionate commitment to lifelong learning.
It has evolved to where last year there were over 41,000 kids who received scholarships. And I just recently heard a soundbite on the radio where Governor Jindal was touting the fact that for the first time, more high school graduates in Louisiana were staying in state than were leaving the state.
It's easy to look at the statistics and find strong support for the effectiveness of the plan. But for me, the truly effective way is to see the young people that come to me and say, you know, I never had an opportunity to meet your husband, but I want to thank you for making my education possible.
Thank you, Phyllis, for being a role model, not just for women, not just for the United Way, but for anyone who wants to give back to his or her community.
Thank you, Phyllis, for being who you are. Thank you for having a deep interest in people. Thank you for sharing your resources, your personal resources, as well as your financial resources.
Thank you for all your support in the entire military and the law enforcement and the first responders, but especially your Marines.
Thank you, Phyllis, for the gift of your friendship, for all you do for so many of us at so many levels, for the fact that you made this great difference in all of our lives and for the city of New Orleans. Thank you, Phyllis. She's fabulous. She's just fabulous, Phyllis.